Welcome to 32 Bar Cut, the show, a show where we talk with our friends about what it's like to be a performer. Today on 32 Bar Cut, the show, we are talking with Lion King's dance captain, Bravita Threatt.
It's time to welcome on our guest, my favorite by far, a Broadway star,
Bravita Threatt.
On 32 Bar
I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. Bravita Threatt is one of my closest friends. She brought me into the show, taught me a lot about The Lion King, and has been my rock since I moved to New York. Welcome to the show, Bravita Threatt.
Thank you, Adrienne. This is such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
We are so excited to have you on 32 Bar Cut, the show. We know that you have a dancer background. You've been a dance captain at the Lion King for several years, or co-dance captain with Kellen Stansel. And you just have so much to offer to the theater world. And I can't wait to dive in because I know you as a friend, but I don't know that much about your career pre-meeting you in 2016. So right. I'm looking forward to hearing about those details and what your journey was like in this life we called theater and dance and all the above. But before we get into that, I just want to ask, how are you doing and what has the past year been like for you?
You know, I'm so good. I'm so good and blessed. And this year, everybody's had a difficult year. But the thing about this year that I really appreciate and I'm really thankful to have you in my life is that we took this year and we made it work for us. You know, thank goodness it happened. 32 Bar Cut was born. Thank goodness it happened. Studio Bravo became a virtual dance studio. Thank goodness it happened. I'm like the future Mrs. Brown. Come on.
Congratulations. For those who don't know, Bravita recently got engaged to her boyfriend, Brandon Brown. And so they are planning their nuptials for next year, which is very exciting.
So exciting.
Speaking to that, I know that you are just starting a new dance studio called Studio Bravo, which you just mentioned, and I want to dive into that later in the interview. So keep that in the forefront because I definitely want to talk about it. And it's like what you said, we've been presented with this year full of difficulties and not exactly what we were expecting at all. But in spite of that, you've been able to launch into the new phase that you were hoping to do, opening a dance studio.
Right.
You have been in school again, learning and growing, and you make it work. Like Bonita said a few episodes before, you pivot. You learn how to pivot and you take that pivot and you make it work for you. So let's roll back a bit and talk a little bit about your Lion King audition. I know this story, but I really want the world to hear this story because I think people have this this idea that when you book something that you did everything right, or when you book something that you were just the right person at the right time and everything just aligned. And that's not necessarily the case. So please tell us your Lion King audition story.
Yes. So I used to be in Dallas Black Dance Theater in Dallas, Texas, of course. And I was a principal dancer at the time. And it was great. You know, I was soloist, duet. I did it. I had a great time there. But I learned that when people become complacent or unhappy, it is time to move on. So I started to just feel like, what am I doing here? You know? So I felt that it's time for me to go. If your spirit isn't happy, it's time for you to move on. So I began auditioning. And of course, I let Miss Williams know, Ann Williams, who's the founder and director of Dallas Black Dance Theatre. I let her know that I was auditioning. And Zach Ingram, which you know, of course.
Yeah, I love Zach. Mm-hmm.
He was dancing in the company with me at the time. He had just left Alvin Ailey, and then he came to the company. And he used to always be like, "Ho, you could dance." And I'd be like, "Okay, thank you." You know, and so he was like, "So why are you still here? You should go to this audition." And I was like, "Okay, I really don't have any money to go." And he was like, "Find a way to go." So I bought a ticket to go audition for the first time in Los Angeles. And, you know, I just had tuna and crackers for like a month until I had money to like eat again. But you know, you have to do little sacrifices like that. So I auditioned in LA and I sang. Oh my God. The first time I auditioned in LA, this is the story. Is this the one? Auditioned twice. So the first time, I don't remember if it was the first or the second time. It was the first time. Yes, it was. So the first time I auditioned, I was cute. I had on a bike-guitar unitard.
What is that? What is a bike-guitar? Is that with the shorts?
It's the short unitard. It was real short. It had a lace back. It was from Class N. I had made it myself. So, you know, I'm a Zeta. So it was like blue with pink lace in the back.
That is full out.
I wasn't going to play at all. Do you hear me? I was not playing any games with those combinations. So the first cut, of course, I made it through. The second cut, I made it through. The third cut, I made it through. And then they had it down to me and like an Asian girl that was like a little taller than me. And before that cut, it was several of us, and they had us come in the room. And Mark Brandon, the casting director, was like, "Okay, everybody, I'm gonna say your name, and I want you to tell me how tall you are." Mind you, he had like the resumes in his hand. So all the girls, Susie, how tall are you? 5'6". Very good. Brenda, how tall are you? 5'3". Very good. Sarah, how tall are you? I'm 5'5". Very good. Bravita, how tall are you? 5'5". She said, "Your resume says you 5'3".
Oh no.
I was like, well, I am. I just really want a job, right? And then Celise, who is like she's an what is Celise?
She is like a dance director for several companies, like dance hiring director. I don't know.
She's like
correct.
She's like a creative, because there's 2 teams of creatives now.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll say that. Sorry, Celise. She's amazing. That's why I really don't know her title. She was like, "Oh, she lied. Oh, you lied? You're 5'3" and here's 5'5". So, you know, I'm like shamed. And he goes down the row. Mind you, the girl who was next to me was 5'5", right? And I'm 5'3", so myself, I'm 5'5". Anyway.
In the moment, it felt like it was going to work, but then later you're like, what was I thinking?
I like didn't think about it, because it was it was a lie on my resume that I was 5'5". And that's what I used to tell everybody. I'm 5'5". I never thought about it, because I project tall and I think that I'm tall. So they ended up keeping me, and then me and another girl, she was Asian, you know, are jumping across the floor. And then they asked us 2 to come and sing. So I went in the room first to sing. Now it's just more than Mark Brandon and Celise. It's like the music director, somebody else, the casting director again, and Celise. So I come in the room ready to sing. And Celise was like, "Oh, this is the girl that lied. Oh yeah, she lied."
Oh no.
Then on top of that, they were like, "So what are you going to sing for us today?" I was like, "Well, I grew up in the church, so I'm going to sing Amazing Grace." And then Celise was like, "And she don't have no sheet music. The next time you come in here, you need to have some sheet music." And I was like, "Okay." So of course I sang Amazing Grace, and it was fine. It was great. Like, they work with you. And then the second time I came back, she still remembered.
Oh no.
Came in the room, no sheet music. "Oh, you still don't have no sheet music? So you lied and you came back without sheet music?"
So when was the callback? When did you come back?
So the second time wasn't a callback. It was just the second audition.
Oh, okay. Was it later that day? Was it?
Oh, no. One was in May of that year, and then I went to a following audition January the like previous year.
Oh, okay. So it was months later.
Yeah, it was months later. So, you know, I went to that audition in May, and of course I didn't get a call. It was just that there was no openings. Like nobody was leaving or coming. It was just like a matter of time. And then I went to that next audition the next year. And again, at that time, nobody had left. Nobody, you know, my track in the show, what we call a track, you know, where somebody who's your height, who's your type, can fit the costumes and do the role had not left.
Mm-hmm.
And actually in The Lion King, it's better for you to be, if you're a dancer, singer, it's better for you to be short because you want to be taller than young Nala, but shorter than Adrienne,
than Nala.
Adult Nala.
Whoever's Nala, yeah.
And we also wear like the headpieces on top. So when I had that little hiccup, Mark Brandon was saying, it's better that you are short. So don't lie on your resume.
Mm.
And now looking back at that, is when you audition, people want you, not what you think they want.
Absolutely. You're not a casting director.
Yeah.
You can't cast yourself. All you can do is present it yourself in an honest way. And I've had my moments too. Like when my first Broadway audition was for Beautiful, and Stephen Copel had traveled to Chicago and was holding Beautiful auditions at the Equity office in Chicago. So I was like, ooh, we're going. So all of us, we were in Rent at the time. All the Black folks went, right? We were like, let's get in there, And so we're at this Beautiful audition, and he called us all back for the next day, made accommodations for us because he knew we had to go to a matinee.
Awesome. Yes.
And so I'm in there at that dance call trying to do the locomotion girl. Can't get down. And to this day, I'm like, why couldn't I wasn't feeling it. I didn't have it in my body. So, Stephen Copel actually gave my agent feedback. And you know how rare that is. You never get feedback. You never get feedback. So he was like, look, Dawn, we loved Adrienne, but she really needs to work on her dancing. And so my agent was like, Adrienne, like, we're kind of sick of getting this note about you. So can you please she didn't say that, but that's how you took it. Yeah, that's how I took it. So she was like, look, I go to Lou Conti every Saturday. They have beginner classes. They have musical theater classes. Get down to the Loop and go to Lou Conti and start taking classes. So I did, but dancing for me doesn't come naturally or easily. And so I didn't stick with it. And so I completely commiserate with you when you're like 5 months later, you still hadn't done some of the things they asked you to do because it doesn't come natural to you. And you were like, well, maybe my talent will be enough, Well, sure enough, Stephen Copel called me back. A few months later, they needed an emergency replacement. So this was actually legit, like my first Broadway audition. I borrowed money from my parents, flew to New York, stayed with friends. It came down to me and one other girl. And I did not move forward because I could not do the locomotion.
You didn't, I'm surprised that you didn't go home and practice it, but you probably thought, oh, it's over. You know what I mean?
Not only did I think it's over, I don't have that dancer brain of, oh, here's the choreo. Let me do it again. If you let me sit down with some choreo and there's no one there to watch over me, I'm going to learn it wrong. And then it's going to be stuck that way. You know what I mean? Like, I need supervision.
I know. That reminds me of the time that we rehearsed for Tina in the stairwell.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. So me and Bravita both went in for Tina the musical auditions. And for different tracks. But Bravita was trying to help me with this dance call.
I sure was. I was like, I got it. Come on.
Let me teach it to you real quick. I was like, this ain't about to be a real quick. This is not going to be a real quick, but okay, let's learn it.
Yeah. And that brings me to the point of like, yes, we're talking about musical theater, but it's something about the people. There are not many people that are great friends, but when you find good people in the industry, like, you're kind of with them for the whole journey, like for your whole life. Like, yes, we met in Lion King, but like, you're a lifer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's rare.
I'm a hangers on. You got me now. I'm not going anywhere.
That's rare because in this industry, it can be cutthroat. It can be a lot of jealousy. But the thing is that we always have to remember is what's for you is for you.
Mm-hmm.
So work on yourself and share with others. And when you find people like that, hold on to them.
Yeah, you have to, because it can be rare. And you find, people say your tribe, but I understand that too, is you find people that you flow with naturally. It's not forced. It's not a forced relationship. You just vibe. You want to be around them. You want to support them. And you have like-minded goals and like-minded interests. You can grow together. You can go up that trajectory together.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be people in your life that don't have the same like-mindedness, and they drag you down. I know you felt it. I have felt it, where I leave an experience with someone. I'm like, oh, I do not feel replenished. I feel depleted. I feel sad or negative. Bravita and I don't have that. When I'm around Bravita, she lifts me up. I hope I do the same for you. But I feel like we vibe and we grow and we get better together. Right. And in an industry that is so subjective and full of rejection and just can be a bit difficult to traverse sometimes, you need people in your corner, like you said, that are going to build you up and replenish you and not deplete you, because this business can deplete you on its own.
Yes. Now, but one thing, though, those people also have to tell you the truth. And you tell me the truth.
You tell me the truth, too.
I sure do, but it's out of love. But you know, you got to take that, and that's how you grow. You know, and if you don't tell me the truth, then really, what are you telling me?
That's true. That's true. I think we've all seen it, where people get to a point in their career where you can just tell they're around yes people, and nobody's saying, "Nah, don't do that. No, that doesn't work. No, this doesn't look good." You know,
right.
And I'm not talking about negativity or naysayers that just keep you from growing and thriving creatively, but you do need checks and balances, and you need people in your life to be like, nah, that's not for you. Or no, actually do it again. You need to practice more. Why aren't you pushing yourself? Like, you need those people too.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what you are for me with voice lessons and singing. And that's what I am to you for movement.
Movement. Can we talk about it though? Okay, so y'all. So when I joined The Lion King, I got my offer in February. I think I got it in February. I don't have the best memory, but I think I got my offer in February of 2016. And my contract was supposed to start in June of 2016. And I was told by my agent that I needed to take Pilates, ballet, and yoga. And so I was on tour at Dirty Dancing, and I did what I could. But here's another example of me getting direction and not putting it into action fully so that I could better myself and be ready. You know, even for something so high stakes as The Lion King, I feel like I should have done more, but I was trying to juggle with being on tour and everything. And
that's hard. It was really hard.
And so I did take a few private ballet classes. I got into some yoga classes. In the cities we were in, I did not find too much Pilates, but I did try. And I showed up to my first week of rehearsals and everything was chill. You know, we were learning Javanese and Balinese movement, and I was learning the blocking and singing a little bit and acting a little bit. And I was like, okay. And then I walked in on a Wednesday. I remember this. I walked in on a Wednesday and all the schedule said was Nala movement with Bravita Threatt. And I thought, oh, okay, Nala movement. You know, and I had seen the show, but the movement I saw, I thought, oh, I can handle this. And that Nala Simba fight went by so fast, I didn't know what happened.
That fast.
I was like, I don't know what just happened. I'll learn it, you know. Right. Yeah.
That's why you thought, done.
So on this day, I had also just taken my first training session at New York Sports Club. Is that what it's called? Yeah, New York Sports Club. Mm-hmm. So I had taken the training session at New York Sports Club because I realized I needed to be stronger. And now that I had some roots, I was like, let me get into the gym. So I was a little sore. So I walk into Nala movement thinking, I'm warmed up. Here we go. Let's go. Well, one little word needed to be changed on that schedule for me to understand what I was about to be doing. Because it wasn't Nala movement. It was Nala conditioning.
Yes, it was.
It was Nala conditioning. Okay? Because Bravita had me just working. How long did we do that? Was it 2 hours? Was it 1 hour?
I feel like it was like an hour and a half. And then you went into music for an hour and a half.
I don't even remember the music. I don't even remember the music. I just remember that you had me doing exercises I had never done, that I didn't think I could do, that I really couldn't do that day. I was sweating. I was like, I need a towel. It was...
Yes. We had a great time. It was a great time. It was a great, great time.
If you say so.
You came in and you were like, well, I just worked out. And what did I say? We're going to do it again.
Yeah, you said, okay, we're going to do it again. With a smile. And then you put on your music. You said, okay. I think Tom Reynolds was the stage manager that day.
Oh, yeah, my boyfriend, of course.
Yes.
I'm sure. So on top of that, like, everybody kept telling us how much we looked alike. Remember, I met you in the house, like, our stage manager brought me to you because we look alike.
He was like, see, don't you look? And we're looking at each other like, nah.
We're like, nice to meet you. I'm Bravita. And you're watching the show like,
it's like intermission.
Hey, sorry. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was NALA conditioning. Yeah. We had meetings about this before you even came.
Wow.
Like I had to write out what I was going to work on with you.
Wow.
And then, present it to Ruth Lynn, get her opinion, what it needs to be changed, redo it. And it was like a proposal. This is what I want to do with the new NALA.
Yeah. And so was this your first time working one-on-one with a new NALA?
It was my first time working with a new NALA.
So did you feel like, did you feel any pressure, or did you feel just excitement about it? Like, what were your feelings about taking this on?
I wanted you to be the best NALA ever. My first NALA is going to be amazing. And then I ended up breaking her. So
when she says breaking me, I am kind of clumsy, but anyway, still, I think when I first got to The Lion King, I was still learning how to move my body and be aware of my body, which is something that is innately, I guess, just lives with dancers. That doesn't quite live with me naturally. Jelani called it kinetic intelligence, which I thought was like, ooh, that's good. That's good. So I was jumping on a miniature trampoline and I rolled my ankle on the trampoline. So that's what Bravita's referring to as breaking me. But you didn't really break me. I just had a small little, it wasn't even a sprain. Like, and I was able to get back into it after that.
Yeah, you were. They were just like, Bravita no longer works with Adrienne.
That conditioning was no joke. It was, but I needed it. And now, what's great is what you showed me in that conditioning, I used it in my workouts at home. Beautiful. And then I just got stronger and stronger because I could see the growth. I could see that when I first started out with you, the exercises I couldn't do. And then like 2 months later, I'm doing them. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm moving through this,
I'm sure because I've seen the growth from when you started to where we left off in 2020.
Yeah, let's talk about where we left off in 2020. Not so much today, but a year ago. Yeah,
that's how we all feel because like maneuvering 2020 and trying to stay fit and trying to stay healthy and happy has been a journey in itself. Trying to even find a routine because we're so used to our daily routine. We know what time we're going to get up, what time we're going to eat, what time we're going to be at the theater. Our intermission is some people's meal, and it's like everything is set for us on how we move. We even know what time the train is going to come.
Yeah,
so all of that.
How are you balancing that? How are you I know, but tell the people, how are you staying fit and true to what your body needs during this time without the routine?
Yes. So as a mature dancer, I already had a stationary bike at my home. And I went to a personal training session about once a week, but I also worked out on my own in the gym, and Bikram yoga was my thing. Nice. So now that this stuff has like happened, I don't go to the gym anymore. So I, of course, still have my bike. I ride my bike every day. And it also lubricates my joints because I tore my ACL at the age of 14 and now get injections to like give me comfort and cushion in between my joints. So I ride the bike. Now I'm working on 15 miles a day. So I just sit there and ride, get that good sweat. And then, of course, I stretch after that. And I bought my own weights. So I like have a gym at home. I squat at home. I curl at home. So some days I'll lift weights. And then some days I'll do yoga. And then some days I'll do Pilates. So that's how I've like learned to kind of keep it together. I've also had to adjust my eating because in New York, we were like always moving. We were like, eat something here, walk to the subway, walk to the next place, walk here, do that, eat something here. Like, it was like, I always had snacks, but we just ate and like would be doing so much. Yeah. Now I'm on the computer, working on Studio Bravo or grad school. And then maybe I'll come downstairs and teach a class in my living room, which is different from a stage that has a number line from 0 to 30, which is big difference. So now I'm kind of learning how to adjust my eating habits as well. And at one time, I just wasn't eating much because I wasn't hungry. Mm-hmm. And for me, my metabolism says, you need to eat more so I can continue to work.
Yeah, I can identify with that too. I was just telling Austin earlier this week, I was like, I've got to start back working out more because I'm not eating. And my metabolism is suffering from that, the lack of activity. And it's like eating less doesn't always mean that you're going to lose weight. Yeah. It can really mean the opposite, that your body just slows down and starts storing everything up.
Yes. So, yes. And listen, this water consumption, I've always stayed on it, but I like to share with everybody else. Drink it, drink it, drink it, drink it.
Mm-hmm. I know you like that alkaline water.
That's what I'm drinking right now.
It's just something about it that's so fresh and crisp and clean, right?
Yeah, it's so refreshing.
So you were just talking about Studio Bravo, and I really want to get into that a little bit because you've made your pivot, your grand pivot, really, into entrepreneurship. And you made the decision to start Studio Bravo and open it up in Virginia. So can you talk a little bit about that too?
I'd love to. So at first, I was going to open a physical studio here in Virginia. And then the pandemic hit. And I really wanted to, but it was not a great choice. So I decided to create a virtual studio. And I have a great platform. Like, all my friends are professional dancers that would love to help me out. So I just was like, we'll start a virtual studio. You teach at home and everybody will take class from their homes. That's the safest for everyone. And everyone is learning. We're learning how to use technology. We're learning how to dance. We're learning how to deal with our new normal. And so that's what we're kind of at right now. I also created a gallery called the Broadway Gallery. And what that is virtual classes from Broadway professionals. And also you're in Adrienne's in the gallery as well, giving audition tips. So it's every avenue of a performing artist. Mm-hmm. You have your tap, your ballet, your musical theater, your acting. And it's like really a great tool to have because you can take class whenever you want.
Yeah. And so, because everyone's really doing that virtual experience now with, it runs the gamut, whether you're learning a new skill in technology or you're learning how to be a writer. I've taken classes for TV and film auditioning virtually, which is an interesting medium to do, but it works because a lot of these callbacks for TV and film have been through Zoom auditions recently, Right. So it's good to have that practice. And I think we will be learning for a while virtually. And I think what's great, even though you were planning on opening a physical studio, is that you would have only had that Virginia market. And now your market is opened up to wherever you wanted to go, to the whole world, which is huge. So where can we find you? Where can we find Studio Bravo?
Actually, I have to let you know that I have to let you know one thing. So I'm super, super excited that I'm able to open up because I have students from Philadelphia and from Florida and from Maryland. Like, I would not be able to meet these people and work with these people if it was just in Virginia. Mm-hmm. But you can absolutely find Studio Bravo at thestudiobravo.com.
Thestudiobravo.com. Okay.
Yep. And also on Instagram at The Studio Bravo. And we also have a YouTube page at The Studio Bravo. Very easy, The Studio Bravo.
Very consistent. So it won't be hard to find. And we're going to drop that in so that everyone can see that too. At awesome. The Studio Bravo. I love it. And how did you come up with the name for Studio Bravo?
My ballet teacher in college used to call me Bravo.
Really?
So he used to call me Bravo. Mr. Mader, he wore white jazz shoes. He rode his bike to the theater, to the studio, and he taught at the Richmond Ballet. And when I would come in class, he'd be like, "Bravo, come to the bar, darling, bravo." I'm doing something in class. He's like, "Bravo, bravo."
That's awesome. So it's like, it's an extension of you, but also maybe honoring him in some way, an homage to him. That's awesome.
Yes. And yeah, I just always remembered that because, during that time, I learned that like the reason why people wear pink tights. So in college, you're like learning and you try and be difficult. It's not really being difficult, but you're just figuring things out. So you want to do this because you don't want to do that, and you don't want to do what they ask you to do type thing. So I was like kind of rebellious when I learned that pink tights were worn because back in the day, like only, people with the pink skin tone did ballet. And that never changed. So then I started, it wasn't even rebelling. What it was once I learned that that's why we wear pink tights, I started wearing tights that matched my skin tone. And the uniform for ballet was, of course, black leotard, pink tights. Mm-hmm. And even though that was the uniform, I was like, no, this is my uniform. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing brown tights. And Mr. Mader loved it. Like, he just loved me, He loved me, and I loved that I could dance, and I loved his class,
I'm really glad that you brought that up because in our curtain call, are you staying around for the curtain call?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Because in our curtain call, I really want to talk about diversity and inclusion and what that journey has been like for you as a dancer on Broadway, and how it can change. So keep that in your pocket because I really want to talk about that when we come back. So now we're going to get into the stage door round. I'm going to ask you a few questions. You give me whatever comes to mind, and then we're going to finish out and move on to the curtain call. Okay?
Okay. Awesome.
All right. If you could change one thing about our industry to make it better, what would that be?
Oh, wow. And it's supposed to be fast. Let me think fast. Fast on my feet. I could change one thing about this industry. Oh. How superficial our industry is.
Ooh.
I would change that.
Do you want to speak more on that, or you want to leave it there?
I'm going to leave it there.
You're going to leave it there.
That's deep. Like,
yeah,
it's very deep. But that's us as a people, as a society. We're very superficial, and the industry is worse.
Do you think it's an American societal thing, or do you think it's something?
Yeah. That's what I do think it's an American thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that in a lot of things. Austin and I watch a lot of foreign films, and just the casting is so different from American film that it makes me feel like we've got a long way to go when it comes to being superficial and why folks get hired and why folks don't get hired, and how much value we put on our standard of beauty.
Yes.
And what matters. It's so, yes. I mean, it wouldn't it be incredible if our spirits and our souls and what we were on the inside was a reflection of how people see us. But it's shrouded in all of the, cultural issues and everything else that we don't always see people for who they are, for how ugly they are and how beautiful they are. We don't always get a chance to see really fully realized people sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. And that also brings me to another thing about, it's about I think about makeup. Like, I love a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love it. And I also love a beautiful woman that is okay with not wearing any makeup.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get this way, but in my mature age, not aging myself at all, I've come to love a woman that can just be comfortable in her skin and be okay with it. Put on a lip and be like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But anyway, yep. So that's what I think.
Okay. Next question. What is your favorite post-show treat?
Ooh. You know, I go for a bag of chips real fast after the show. Actually, some kettle chips, some jalapeno kettle chips.
Yeah.
With a salsa water. Yes.
Done. That's it. That's the one.
Ooh, yep.
Okay. If you only had 5 minutes to warm up, what would you do?
Push-ups, sit-ups, and then I crack my hips in a second with the contractions from ground. And just right split, left split, and I go.
Done. You know exactly what you do. Have you had to do that before? You've had to do
I'm a whole swing. I am dance captain and swing of Disney's The Lion King.
Okay. This is a fun one. This is something I ask everyone. Okay. So who at the Lion King would you slap? Who would you hug? And who would you take to lunch?
Oh, only 3? It's so many people at the Lion King. I would hug Lindsay Jolin Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Love her. And I would take my boyfriend out to lunch. That's Tom Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
And I would slap you high five right before you go run on stage.
You would slap me a high five. Okay, so she's not slapping anybody in the face.
I'm not slapping anybody in the face.
Well, Bravita, it has been so much fun chatting with you. I can't wait to dig a little deeper in the curtain call. If you are interested in taking classes at the Studio Bravo, all you have to do is go to thestudiobravo.com and you can give them a follow on Instagram at The Studio Bravo. All right, Bravita, I will see you at the curtain call.